A value scale shows you what a material looks like when it goes from its lightest light to its darkest dark and all the different shades in between. So here we're going to practice some value scales. I'm going to start with a pencil, and we want to show what this pencil looks like. The lightest that we can use it down here, all in between, darker and darker and darker, to the darkest that we can use it here. Sometimes it helps to start with the dark end. So if you go ahead in and lay down a dark value with your pencil on one end. I'm using the side of my pencil. That is very helpful for this process. And then I'm going to very slowly bring it down. I'm going to lighten up on the pressure of my pencil. Carefully blend it so it's a nice smooth transition down the value scale. It's going to get lighter and lighter as it goes. At the other end, we're really just going to see the white of the page. See how light we have? Still have pencil in there. It's a very, very light value of pencil. It's getting a little bit darker in here, and a little bit darker as it moves across. Now, on the end of the value scale, you want to show really, truly the darkest value that your pencil can have. And so right here is not quite the darkest. So I'm going to go in and press pretty hard on the end here to show that super dark value, but I don't want to leave a line there, so I'm going to go over it in some different directions. I'll get that dark value on the end, yet I will still blend it out so it smoothly blends into the rest of the value scale. And now we can see what the pencil value goes from the very dark to the very light. It's super light here, you can barely see it. All of these different shades in between to the very dark. Now you can do the same thing with a colored pencil. You take your colored pencil, and on one end you're going to color in as dark as that colored pencil will go. Sometimes you have to press pretty hard. You can get a nice opaque color with a colored pencil. Again, I don't want a line there, so I'm going to get this darkness here, but then I'll go ahead and blend it in as it goes down the scale so that there's a smooth transition from this really dark. It comes down again on these colored pencils. You can use the side. Colored pencil's a little harder because you can't erase, so you have to be really careful as you go. You get lighter and lighter. Very end, you can barely see the colored pencil, but there's still a value there. It's getting a little darker this way right here. All the way up to that dark end. So that's a value scale using a colored pencil. Now you can also blend your values, so I could take two colored pencils and blend them together. So I'm going to take a middle value with this colored pencil because it blends easier with those middle values. I'm going to put that in there on this side, and I'll take a middle value of this colored pencil, the yellow. I'm going to leave the original colors on the end, but in the middle I'm going to blend them together. And you can see that it creates a new color, and you can go back and forth with the colored pencils to deepen that new color that you just created. And the last thing you'll do is play around with a value scale with a marker. Now a marker is a little different. You can't blend a marker the same way, but we can show the value with marker in a couple different ways. One way is with a line. So if I create lines that are close together, it's going to look darker. And if I spread them out as we go, it will look lighter, like that. Now you can do it also with dots. So instead of just lines, we'll put this here so you can see both. You can do dots. If you put lots of dots together, they will look darker. It'll be a darker value. And then as you go, lighten up on your dots. Now, while you're doing this, just be gentle with the marker. Don't pound it on the paper because it'll smash the tip of your marker. But we do need a lot of dots here. If we want this value to be very dark, you're going to need a lot of dots. And again, you want to have a smooth transition from one to the other. So you can see how there's a lot of different ways to create value with your different materials. But the value scale will show you the ability of your material to go from one end to the other, and everything in between. And while you're doing your characters, you can think about which of the values in here do I need to use to make my drawing be the best that it can be.